Hi everyone, hope you're all doing well. Toxic mothers can cause misogyny, colorism, and identity issues. So the first one we're talking about is emasculating. Some mothers can be very emasculating, and this can cause shame, anger, resentment, and identity issues. It's so important to understand the reasons behind some colorism, because it's like when it comes to bullying, it's unfair for boys to be mistreated, bullied, and when girls talk about horrible mothers, they get validated, they get praised for being brave and speaking up. But when men talk about it, they say, "Oh, man up," and it's like, "Oh, she did the best she could," and they gaslight men. So it's so important to know that emasculating sons and putting them down, embarrassing them, that can make them feel very, very um, embarrassed, ashamed, and they can turn very angry and bitter towards women as a whole. The second one is becoming a son husband. It's not fair. It really isn't, because boys are supposed to feel like they can make mistakes, they can be themselves, and some women are very selfish, and they want to get married, and they don't realize that they have their sons as a placeholder. They're giving them false responsibilities, and this can cause unfair treatment, unfair pressure, and it's important for him to be a boy and just be himself without the pressure. Um, the third one is masculine mothers. When the woman's being masculine and she's very aggressive, this can make a boys fear women in general and question their manhood, their masculinity. The Jezebel spirit loves to use women to destroy manhood, destroy masculinity and leadership. And when a man sees a woman operating like a man, it makes them doubt themselves. I wonder if they could lead, if they could provide, because the Jezebel spirit is a masculating spirit. It can make men question their manhood. It can make them question if they could actually provide and lead and protect a family because of what they've seen. And they might have doubt, they might have fear, and they might have rejection issues because they might feel like they can't lead a home because of what they've seen. Um, the fifth one is no male role models. They might try to find a male role model in the church, but some men, they have a Jezebelic wife and they are Ahab. They don't have no power. And the wife has the money, has the resources, the power. And some pastors are very angry, they're moody, they're bossy, they're emasculating. And the cycle continues because their wife wears the trousers and they don't have power. And that Ahab is just so angry, passive, and with all these mood swings, bossy. And it's like the guy trying to find a role model, but he can't find one because these pastors are so arrogant, bossy. They have father wounds, they have mother wounds, and they go to ministry school, but they're not trying to heal. They're not trying to heal. They go to ministry school, but they don't go counseling. They have father wounds, they have mother wounds, and they're so bossy and rude to these boys, and these boys are looking for role models, but they end up getting bossed around, emasculated by them, and they wonder why. They might have they have mother and father issues, but these pastors have all these pain, all these rejection they haven't dealt with, and when they see that the pastors are being so bossy, emasculating, and rude and snappy, it's because these pastors don't have. A lot of these pastors are Ahab, and their wife is very Jezebelic, and she has power, she has money. And these pastors sometimes they go through spiritual warfare. They go through spiritual warfare. Maybe they're called to ministry, and they have financial issues because they're called to ministry, and their wife has the resources, their wife has the money. She wears the trousers, but they don't tell you that. All you see is the sermons, but you don't see that they don't really have control and power like that because they don't have money. The wife does, and this leads to more chaos. And it's important for guys to have discernment and realize, you know what, there can be the generational curse breaker of having a godly feminine wife and take the lead. But it's important to seek coaching or mentorship from someone. It could even be a guy online, because sometimes church counselors are controlled by Jezebel, and they'll tell you stuff that is not really helpful. They'll say, oh, it is what it is, and it's because Jezebel is bribing them with money. Jezebel's giving them money to shut up, so they probably won't tell you the right thing. They'll probably just try to talk to you like a robot because they're being controlled by Jezebel. And the next one is identity issues. When you don't have role models, when you don't have someone leading you in the right direction, it could cause identity issues like what you call for, who are you? Because you had such bad experiences from emasculating men, like, leaders that are very bossy. Mother's Day, they praise women and they say, oh, you did this, and we're proud. You deserve all the praise and stuff like that. I don't talk about mothers that are damaging. They criticize. They're so critical. They bully. They pick on. It's certain things you don't see at home. At church, they're probably laughing. They're so friendly. They're so kind. They're caring towards people. But when they're at home, their bitterness comes out. They're very bitter with life. But when they go to church, they put on a mask. When they go to church, they put on a mask to act like they're happy. They love their life, and they're so easygoing and sweet. But when they come home, the real then comes out. They're bitter about life. They're bitter how much things are lost. So if you need any counseling or prayer requests or anything else, email me. Thank you for listening.